should have tested this. No, it's on. It's on. Welcome to Seneca East. I'm Laura Keggy. I'm the superintendent here, and I am just beyond thrilled that we are making this announcement at Seneca East today. So I was told I'm not allowed to steal any thunder. So I'm not going to do that, but I want to say this work has been in progress for a long time. And I'm just fortunate to be a tiny piece of it. And it really came to a head when we shut school down because of COVID and sent everyone home. And we knew we had limited access prior to that. But when we sent students home to learn remotely, and we sent teachers home to work remotely, we did a survey about 24 hours before we sent students home to see who had internet and who did not. And it was staggering how many kids we were sending home to learn in remote education who did not have reliable internet to actually make that work. And no prep time to do anything about it. So, we ordered hotspots and we did our best and we lumbered along. And about 2 weeks after that, I started making some phone calls about what are we going to do? This cannot be how life is in rural America in Seneca County, in our area. And lo and behold, I found out everyone else had the same thought. It was not just me. We all were thinking it. We just needed to get a lot of really great minds together who had drive and talent and resources. And I'm grateful that you picked up that work and really, really ran with it. So I hope someday you get to feel the impact that what you're doing makes in the lives of kids and their families. Because you will see the project from a high level, but I will see it every day with the students walking through the hallways. And that's where it really makes a difference. So I'm proud that you're here. I'm grateful that you've come to hear this announcement, and I want to thank you. I have just an immense amount of gratitude for the work that you're all doing, and I'm proud to be a little part of it. So Ed told me to talk for 27 minutes, and I said I didn't need 27 minutes. But no, we know some of you came a long way for probably what is a short announcement. That's how important it is. So it's my honor now to turn it over to Ed Van Hus from North Central Electric Cooperative, and the thunder will be revealed.
So I want to invite Nate to just come up with me, if you don't mind. We're going to do this together because that's what this is about, that we're doing this together, right? So we want to take both companies' resources and use them to help solve a long-standing problem within Seneca County. And that's the problem that not everyone has the same access to broadband. Not everyone can even access the internet in ways that some of us take for granted, right? And what Dr. Kagi just talked about, that her students and that her teachers were not capable of having that same learning experience that someone living elsewhere has. And that's what we want to correct. And so Nate and I have been discussing this for quite some time now. What can we do jointly as two cooperative-based businesses, not-for-profit, member-owned, community-based businesses? What can we do together to help solve this problem? And I believe, and I think Nate believes, that by working together, we can truly have an impact here. Now, we're not going to be able to do it alone. We're not. Which is why we've invited some other people here that we've also engaged with this. But if we bring together our companies, which are semi-public and semi-private, and some public resources as well, and join together everybody's resources, we can take a common sense approach to getting this done. And that's what's really important, just getting it done. Because for too long, we have been promised that this situation would be resolved by other companies out there, and it has not happened. The only way it's going to happen is the way that the co-ops have done it always, and that is we do it ourselves. So we take this truly community-based approach, owned by the people who actually operate it. We expand that throughout the county, and we're able then to be able to provide the level of service that people deserve within this territory. Nate, I want to make sure you get a chance to say a couple words for sure. I know I'm really passionate about this. North Central will bring its resources to bear. Bascom will be the people who actually perform the work and get it done. We are going to support them in that effort. And so with that, I'll let Nate take over and maybe say a few words. Nate?
Thanks. As Ed said, we're both very passionate about this. It's something that we've been looking forward and working on for a while. As Bascom, we've been around since 1906. We are the only true local broadband provider to Seneca County. We're headquartered here. We're based here. And as we've had these discussions over time, this isn't a small project. It's a very, very large project. It's a lot to it. There's a lot of people that are affected by it, as Dr. Kagi alluded to. It's something that even at our size and what we've been doing, we've been putting in fiber since 2003. We're only covering about 39% of the rural areas of the county. And we've been doing it for a long time. So that we knew we weren't going to be able to do this alone. We knew we needed help. We knew we needed a good partner. As he alluded to, why not go from co-op to co-op? I mean, we're the ones that are working together. That's why we're co-ops. We're formed because no one else wanted to do it. So someone had to. So everyone took it upon themselves to create the cooperatives, and that's why we're here today. So we want to be the ones, and we are going to be the ones that cover this county. So we have a very good chance now, as we've been expanding for years, there's a very, very good chance that we will be one of the only counties, if not the only county in Ohio, that will have ubiquitous fiber coverage throughout the entire county. And it's because of this. So that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I do have, one last thing to say real quick is that when I started at Bascom Communications, I started as a technician, and we would go out to people's houses and we would talk about and set them up for internet and things like that. And the next person down the line would be like, okay, so when are you going to come to us? And we do have some wireless internet too, but we also understand that there's limitations to that. But we would go out and hook it up, and we would do what we needed to, and people would be like, we've really heard some great things about this fiber. When do we get the fiber? When do we get the fiber? And I remember having the conversation with somebody right after I started, and I'm like, look, it's super expensive, and it's really hard to do. I don't see it happening. I just don't. Well, what do you know? 4 years later, we had fiber to their house. So then we go to the next one, and the next one says, hey, when are you going to come out to our area? When are you coming out to our area? I'm just being honest. I wouldn't hold your breath on it. I mean, we'd love to be there, but this is something it's pie in the sky. I don't know how this is going to happen. Hey, next thing we know, we're hooking them up with fiber. And then, a few years ago, one of our technicians, actually went to Seneca East. He passed away at 30 years old. And I remember he was always, we'll just call him frugal, very frugal individual. And he went out one day and he bought a lottery ticket. I said, I can't believe out of all the people here that you bought a lottery ticket. Like, that would be the biggest waste of money to you. And he said, well, I was just kind of curious. He goes, I really would love to see everyone get fiber. I want to see everyone get fiber. He said, so if I win, he goes, tell me what I need to donate, and I'll donate to get us fiber. And I'm like, well, dude, that's a big ask. I said, I hope you win. But at the same time, I just don't see it. And then we got to talking about it the other day. I'm like, he's been gone for a couple of years, but it'd be amazing for him to see, this is a dream that is on the horizon and can come true. So, but we obviously couldn't do it alone, and I'm glad we're here today making the announcement. So we're going to work together.
So, official announcement. Bascom and North Central will participate in a joint venture to ensure that all of the rural parts of Seneca County receive true broadband service. We are dedicated to making sure that no one is left behind. Unlike previous expansions of broadband with other companies where they cherry pick certain areas, that is not what cooperatives do, and that is not what we plan to do. We are going to do what we can to make sure that everyone is served equally, regardless of where you live within Seneca County. And that's what makes us different, is that we will do that instead of leaving certain people out because one is more expensive than another. It's what we do on the electric side. It's what Bascom's been trying to do for a very long time on the telecom side. And so that's what we're proposing today. Again, we can't do this alone. And so we have some partners here as well. And we want to give them an opportunity, especially bringing up Tony, if you don't mind coming up, Tony, to maybe talk about what Seneca County's been doing and how we can interact with Seneca County. So thank you guys very much. Tony?
Thank you. Well, on behalf of Commissioner Kirshner and Commissioner Schuff, thank you for inviting us. I have the privilege to represent the three of us today. And, congratulations to your boards. I see several board members out there. You guys, I'm sure, started with a little lunch or something like that, and eventually it got into the boardroom, and here we are. So, boy, you're proud to be a resident of Seneca County, but today it's this kind of cooperation and coming together that just puts us apart. We're blessed in Seneca County to have two co-ops that are domiciled here that can work together. We're blessed to have the schools that we have, the higher education schools, the trade schools, and the commissioners, we really didn't know how to go about this whole broadband initiative when COVID hit. Dr. Kagi was the first one to call me, the second one to call me, and maybe the third one to call me. We have to do something about this. And we really didn't know what to do, so we thought about maybe funding a study, bringing some of the players in the county into the room. And we worked with our local COG, Council of Governments, which really represents the government agencies in our county, the schools, and the private sector. And we had a meeting through TCEP. Aaron Mons will be speaking on their behalf next. We formed a broadband task force. Chief Odeberg, just so you know a little bit of background how this happened. We had, Tim, you guys were there. I believe we had 9 of our 15 townships represented at the first meeting. We had several superintendents of schools there. We had these two gentlemen along with several other providers. We really started getting around the table and coming together and having some discussion. We hired Ice Miller to do the study for us. The study came back and it basically told us what we already knew. So we look at our maps with your maps, with the federal government's maps, and there's a lot of red there. And we thought to ourselves now, okay, we have a roadmap, what can we do? And so the Commissioner's office, we want to do everything in our power to support the private sector. We'll put up our money. We'll work with the township trustees. We're going to do whatever we need to do to provide broadband access to the citizens of our county. I want to thank our elected officials. So it starts with Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted. He's been here a lot. And Nate, I walked down some county road with you, and Lieutenant Governor was walking down the road with you as they were laying broadband. And you know what? There were students from Sentinel or from Vanguard, those as well, but from Terra that were on that crew because we have a program for that. It was just really exciting. So the momentum begins to build, and for you to come up here, Chief, is really appreciated. Senator Reineke, Representative Click, we're all in here to do whatever we can. Tim Lynch, he's president of the Township Association of the State of Ohio. He's here. Happens to be housed in Seneca County as well. And we're going to pull all our resources together. But I want you to know the thing that really stuck out to me is when Congressman Latta came to our meeting. And I had the privilege to sit by him, and he says, you know, I've never seen anything like this. I represent a lot of counties in my district, and I've never seen anybody come together like you have. And he said, and he gave me his card with his cell phone, and he said, call me, I'll help you. And so we're going to call him as well. But with that, it's just a proud moment, and this is a time I can, A, thank everyone for getting us this far, like Dr. Kagi said, but then B, the work is just beginning. You know, we have a lot to do, and we're going to keep going. The Township Association meets Thursday night. Right, Tim? The entire county meets. They will be there talking to them to see if we can muster up some funds that are still left from ARP money to see what kind of a package we can put together. And then we're going to make a visit down to Broadband, Ohio, and we're going to let you know this is what we have, and see if you can help maybe push this over the finish line. And just really exciting times. So with that, I would like to introduce Aaron Mons with TCEP. This is the Tiffin Economic Partnership. We have a lot of people that want to live here. We just have a lot of people that want to live here, but we don't have housing, and we don't have broadband and access. I remember Nate took me aside about 5 times. These guys have been taking me to breakfast and lunch. He said when we run fiber across the front of your property goes up by 3%. Was that so everybody's nodding. I didn't know that. Rick, I don't know if you knew that. So just think of the property values that would go up. And then I'm thinking of the property taxes that the county would get. And then we would just turn around and reinvest it back into the community, right? And this whole thing would keep going. But we have a lot of people want to live here. This would really, really help that. So Aaron, I'll let you take the mic, and thanks for inviting us, and thanks for coming. Thank you.
Contrary to popular belief, Tony and I did not coordinate our outfits for today. It just so happened to line up that way. But man, it sure looks like we shop at the same place, doesn't it? No, it's really great to be here, and I guess I would start off by just saying thank you. I don't think that the majority of folks realize just the light years forward that this will move Seneca County by this announcement and the ensuing work that will go on across our county. You look at COVID accelerated a lot of what is happening in really all aspects of the world, but especially the business world right now. And for students to go home essentially overnight and not know how they're going to be able to complete assignments and speak to their teacher or their facilitator, it's just amazing. But that is going on across the state of Ohio, across this country, and we're going to rectify that thanks to the two of you and your boards and many other players. The Broadband Task Force that was formed last year has done a lot of very good things, and we're one that believes in collaboration in Seneca County. And we knew from day one that study would not sit on a shelf. We've talked about, I'm supposed to talk a little bit about economic development, and I just want to always gravitate towards the students because, of course, we're in a school, and we know that our students are the future of this country, and especially Seneca County. So from an economic standpoint, one of the aspects that we've been working on is housing in Seneca County. We have an extreme housing shortage. The city of Tiffin completed a study at the beginning of the pandemic, literally hot off the presses, and the pandemic hit a month later. And that study said that it was one of the most underserved housing markets in the state of Ohio. We need houses in Seneca County. The problem is, as I began to work in my new role here at the partnership, when you start to overlay maps, it kind of looks, as you saw anyone who attended the Broadband Task Force, the launch of that study, it kind of looks like Swiss cheese. There are areas that are very well served with broadband. There are areas with absolutely no service. Then you begin to overlay them over top of one another with things such as sewer access, water access, power access, and it becomes very difficult to develop housing outside of the core cities and villages in Seneca County. And we know there is a large underserved graphic of the population that wants to live in rural America. It becomes very difficult to develop in those areas. You look at also an economic development standpoint, every lead that comes across our desk of any major capacity indicates right away that they must have high-speed broadband access. So that almost instantly lops off the top any development from occurring in many areas outside of the cities of Tiffin and Fostoria. It's extremely difficult to lure any kind of major manufacturing, forget about any tech industry, without this type of service. So it's going to make our jobs easier. It's going to take Seneca County light years ahead of where we are today when it comes to economic development, housing development, community development, and just putting our students on a fair and level playing field that they deserve so that they are able to go to the next level, whether that is skilled trades, whether that is off to college, and that they are not at a competitive disadvantage like they are today. So thank you, and thank you to the two of you for your partnership and cooperation. I am very appreciative of it.
So we do have a guest here today from Broadband Ohio, and it's their chief, Peter Vodeberg. And I want to invite Peter to come up and just speak a couple of moments about the impact of broadband within rural Ohio and what that actually means. So, Peter.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Peter Vodeberg. I am the chief of Broadband Ohio. We are a division inside of the Department of Development dedicated to bringing high-speed internet access to every Ohioan, regardless of where they happen to live. And I say that all the time, as you can tell, because I can do it all in one breath and not have to pause and take a break. I've been asked to speak a little bit about the impact of broadband, so let's just do something simple to start with, right? How many of you have internet at your house? Raise your hand. All right? Most of us have internet at your house. Okay, that's great. But let me ask a different question. How do you feel when that internet goes out for 5 minutes, right? What does it do to your life when it goes out for 5 minutes? What does it do to your life when it goes out for an hour, right? An hour without broadband. Oh my gosh, think of how devastating it can be to a business, how devastating it can be to a telehealth appointment or to education from home. Well, for a lot of the people, and especially some people here in Seneca County and in the state of Ohio, you don't have access to even a single provider who can give you the bare minimum of broadband service to count as high-speed internet access. So that needs to change, right? And I'm glad to be here to start talking about what that change can mean. You know, high-speed internet access to every Ohioan and building a best-in-class broadband network in the state are the key priorities for the DeWine-Houston administration. You'll hear the Lieutenant Governor say this all the time, and I'm going to repeat it, which he says, you can't be part of a modern economy, a modern education system, or a modern healthcare system without access to high-speed internet, right? I mean, all of it's done online now, right? It's difficult to find a job without going to career.com or Indeed or any of those other places, or Ohio Means Jobs, because I need to put that in there. But those are the places that you do go find jobs now. You know, it isn't the days of going into a store and just filling out an application aren't really around anymore. So under Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Eustace's leadership, we've been partnering with the Ohio General Assembly, local community leaders, and internet service providers to expand access and bring community-based broadband solutions to life. Earlier this year, Broadband Ohio awarded $232 million in grants to 11 internet service providers for over 30 projects across the state of Ohio. These new broadband expansion projects will make affordable high-speed internet available to nearly 100,000 Ohioans in Ohio that currently don't have access. Now, you might ask yourself the question, how many don't have access today? At a minimum, it's 300,000, and of those 300,000, we were able to do 100,000, right? And so what we need to do is make sure that we get to the other 200,000 so that everybody has wall-to-wall coverage. Also, part of our comprehensive broadband strategy, we continue to use new and innovative technologies like fiber to the home to make high-speed internet access more available throughout the state. It includes funding telehealth pilot projects and working on community connectivity projects like the one that you guys are doing here. All of these efforts align with our goals to close the digital divide. What you guys are doing here today, what's being announced today, is a massive step forward in being able to close the digital divide for Seneca County. Just yesterday, we were in the city of Dayton to announce broadband and Wi-Fi service in 3 rec centers that serve the community. And today, I am proud to be here in Seneca County to hear this fantastic announcement about another project that fits into the state's overall strategy to bring high-speed internet to every Ohioan throughout the state. So I want to say thank you as well So I know that you guys will be talking to me more as we go forward. The state of Ohio would love to be able to partner with you and see how we can make this partnership work to bring ubiquitous fiber to the home coverage throughout the entirety of this county. We're really excited about this. We know there's going to be lots more conversations and lots more things that we can do to work on, but I really hope that we can be a partner in this project going forward. So thanks for inviting me here. It's great to be here, and I look forward to how we can help partner on this project. So thank you so much.
So that concludes our formal announcements, but we did want to open it up if anyone had some questions, and you could ask Nate or I, or maybe put them on the spot if you want to as well. So feel free if anyone has a question to ask. Also, there's some cookies and stuff, so please eat them so I don't eat them all, because everyone knows I have a sweet tooth, and I will. So yeah, anybody? Yes, sir.
Sure. So right now we don't have an actual timeline yet, just based off of multiple things. One is, you know, we've got a plan ready to go. We have an idea of what we need and where we need it. Obviously, with this collaboration, the first thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to hit all of North Central Electric members. So that's part of the deal, I guess, is the best way to put it. So the collaboration is between North Central Electric members, so to start off with. So if you have North Central Electric and you don't have fiber currently, you're in the area. So is where we're going to be going. Obviously, there's different parts of it. You know, we're still seeing supply chain issues throughout the industry in general. You know, fiber's backed up, supplies are backed up, the ONTs on the side of the house are backed up. So we got to do that. So we're having to order in larger bulk and out further. So we're kind of at the mercy of that to an extent. Second is we have a pretty good plan going and how we want to utilize the funds that we do have. We still, as Ed alluded to before, we still need some. So we're going to need a little help still. So we're going to do what we can and where we can do it to get the best, you know, I won't say bang for the buck, because that we're not picking and choosing areas, but we're going to do what we can with what we've got. So if we can, you know, as long as we get the rest of the funding, we'll be doing everything. So, and that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. The other thing too is just, as all of you probably know, just there's a lot of jobs out there still. So there's a lot of jobs and not a lot of people to do them. So we're working with places like Terra, and we're going to be working with the Vanguard Sentinels of the world to try to get the right people in the right places to be able to do the work. Myers Construction right now is our contractor. They're out of Green Springs, also local. So we're doing the three sides of the triangle there of locality. They're doing it also. There's only so much we can do in a certain amount of time. Once we get this going, we're anticipating it to be a 3-year project. A very ambitious 3-year project, but a 3-year project nonetheless. So that's what we're hoping. So as soon as we can get some of these back-end things out of the way, we're going to get rolling. So that's about as good as I can give you right now, unfortunately.
No, I want to talk about, we're going to start in North Central, but you will expand.
Yes, we are going to be expanding into other areas also, but the first parts of the area obviously are going to be through North Central. So yes, yeah. As I said before, the goal is ubiquitous fiber coverage throughout Seneca County.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
You obviously identified what the funding needs are, how short are we, and how would you anticipate bridging that gap? Will it include maybe counties or school districts coming together using their pricing power, or will you do that as a co-op?
Well, nobody ever tells me I'm short, so I'm not quite sure what that question means. No, just kidding. So it really depends on some of the ARPA dollars that are out there, how that works out. That's why we're going to be meeting with the township and kind of seeing what they've got and what they can bring to the table. North Central is bringing to bear its resources by way of its construction work plans and some make-ready costs, and I don't want to get too technical, but there's a lot of dollars there as well. And then the county, we're asking them for dollars, and we plan to visit Broadband Ohio as well to do a demonstration project here. Because this project is kind of unique in the way that we're collaborating with one another and collaborating with public entities as well, and sort of bringing everybody to the table. As far as using the schools, I hadn't really thought about that. Typically, we give money to the schools, not take it. So I'm not sure that would flow that way, but certainly we're open to pretty much every kind of opportunity out there. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
I was just gonna say, the only other thing I was gonna say is, realistically, we can get the money. The issue is going to be is now that with inflation and everything else, the interest rates have ballooned quite a bit. So the other part about this whole thing is affordability. We're bringing this in to be affordable. We don't want to go in and say it's going to be X dollars for so many months and then it's going to balloon to this. I'm sure most of you have seen that. We don't do that. So we've held steady for years and years and years and years, and that's our intent. So if we go in there, we can do it now and we can do it all together. But if we start adding all those inflationary numbers and all the extra interest charges and things like that on top of it, it's going to change A, the price, and B, the schedule. So the 3-year ambitious schedule we want to look at, if we've got to borrow that much extra money over time, it's probably going to be a 6-year schedule. So we're trying to not do that because we see that it's necessary now, and that's where it is. Overall, this project, which Aaron's going to love, is probably around $26 million. So it's not a small number, but we're not asking for $26 million also. We're asking for just what help we can get. So whatever we can do gets it done quicker and it gets it done more affordably and to the actual consumer itself. So, I mean, there's a reason why it hasn't been done yet is because of the cost. It's not an easy thing and it's not a cheap thing to do, but we've invested over it and we're to a point where we can do this and put it over the top. So that's what we're doing.
Anyone else? Okay. Well, thank you all very much for coming. Is this better, Terry? Thank you all very much for coming. And I really appreciate you taking the time tonight to come and listen to the announcement. I'm so hopeful for the future of Seneca County. As you heard Aaron talk about, and Peter talk about, and Tony talk about, this is not just about providing internet services, right? It's about providing a way of life for Seneca County and ensuring that our citizens have the same access levels to things that others have. And that's why this project is so important to us. So again, thank you for coming. Please eat the cookies, and we'll see you another time. Thank you.